Hi, stamping friends. I'm really excited to be sharing something with you this morning. I was in my craft room this morning working on some cards, and I just thought it would be kind of fun to share with you guys some ways to blend using the blends with Stampin' Up. Typically, I take the blends for what they are. I find the light and the dark, which again, I can't even do. And I use them like light and dark. I use the darker, then I shade in with the lighter, and voila, like you have blending. However, sometimes, like for example, these apples, it calls for like some shading of different colors. I mean, it doesn't, but I just thought it would look prettier to do that. So then it was like, oh, what do you do? So I had to come outside of my box and the way my brain was wired to pull in some different colors and some different shading. And that's what I thought would be really fun to share with you today. So let's look a little closer. As you can see, these are apples. The apple stamp set is in the new 2022 July through December mini catalog from Stampin' Up, Apple Harvest. I just thought this was so fun. Maybe it's because we have strawberries and we have peaches and we have a lot of other things, but I haven't had apples before. And I love apples. But anyway, I thought it was really pretty with the detail that was here. But when I wanted to shade, I wanted to be able to pull in the two shades of green, pink, along with the reds to give it a little bit more dimension. So in that, I thought, I wonder if there's other people that are like me where it's just hard to know what and how to blend to get the results that you might be looking to get. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. So, as you guys will see, I have a lot of things already kind of in the making because, like I said, I was working on them already this morning to make 16 of them or something. And so I wanted to pick you up with where I left off and then kind of show you more of the blending I'm talking about. So as you can see, I've already done the flower. This I felt like was very basic blending. I just took the polished pink, which is on the card, and I did light and dark. I did take a yellow to the center, but then I did color over it with the pink. So it's very faint. You can't really see it because I put an iridescent dot over top of it already and fussy cut it out. But that is what I did, and I feel like that is very basic. And if you have blends or color with anything, that's kind of the normal way that we would think to naturally use them. But then we get into a little bit more. So I did stamp in Memento Black for both of these and let them dry. The same is actually in the Evening Evergreen. It's just hard to tell because it's not colored yet. Once it dried, I began. So with the tans, the browns, I love that Stampin' Up has a whole array of 10 of them now. So I just took 2 of them that I felt like were branchy colors, colored with one, darkened it a little bit. Again, I think that's still pretty basic. Then we get into the leaves and we get into the apples. I'm not going to color this whole thing because we'll be here a long time, but I do want to show you kind of what I did. So, I was wondering if I could find my scratch sheet of paper, but oh, here it is. So before I began, I actually had a scratch sheet of paper, and that's how I began to test and see what I might like with what. In that, I found that if I used the light Evening Evergreen and the light Soft Succulent, I could get a contrast that I felt like looked nice, not too extreme, very natural looking. Again, a little bit out of my box because it is 2 different colors, but in that, I was very pleased. So with the Evening Evergreen, it is darker, and the shading of this stamp set I think is really unique because it has so much of the black that is supposed to be like shadowing. So I did make sure to do that with the dark when I kind of came around. So I'll just do a couple. Then I went back over with the light, and I do always use the smaller tip because I feel like it can bleed if you're not careful. And I just go over it and just soften the transition. And I still kind of get amazed at the fact that like I'm using two different colors because that's so out of my box. But there you go. And that's what is helping bring on such a distinctive look, I felt like. But then we get to the apples, and that's kind of my favorite part. Like with the apples, because we had 4 of them, I wanted them to be in all different stages on an apple tree. Like some are a little less ripe, some are perfectly ripe. So I did some Googling to understand the different shades, and lo and behold, it does take you through a shade of pink to get to the red. Maybe not all kinds. Can't remember what I Googled, but maybe pinks or pink ladies or something, because I like pink. Anyway, so how could I duplicate and recreate this? So that's what I thought was so fun. What I have out is light and dark real red, and then light and dark polished pink. So I am still using all the shades of the same. You could probably take that a little bit further, but this was definitely enough for me coming out of my box. So I started with the light polished pink. Because I knew I did not want them all to look the same, but some of them needed to have the lightest possible, or we wouldn't have all the shades. So I kind of picked the couple apples, focusing kind of on 2 that would have the transition and 2 that would not. Began with that. Seems pretty simple. So then I took the dark polished pink because I knew that I couldn't go into red without going into a darker color. So I just pick a way to do it. I know it looks so like perfectly perfect, and maybe not on camera. I would try to make it look more not perfect, but you know, circular motions, things like that to make it look a little bit more less perfect. I forgot this one. I thought we should just make all lighter, because he's in a different shade of ripeness as everyone else. So then I jumped a little bit. I went to the dark because I needed to shade. So I then began shading. In that, I kind of touched on all the dark spots of the apple that are already shaded with the stamp set that I stamped. And just really tried to okay, still gonna pull it in down here. Okay, so I'm not gonna touch my pink one because I want to just do the pink with the light real red. You could add a little more if you wanted to. I just I did not want to. With that lighter pink one, I may even come back through here and kind of cover up a little bit in the center. So I feel like he's done. So now I got to handle the other one. So this one's pretty easy. The real red just kind of comes through. I feel like this is kind of like the normal. You're light, you're dark, you're done. Now what are we going to do with the rest? So with this one, I shade over the pink some because I feel like that helps it blend it all together. and then I see what I think. So I still think that that's kind of drastic. So I kind of will take the light and go back over it, let it sit for a little bit, see what I think, and then we can go from there. It is nice because even if it's lighter on darker, it is like they're, I don't know, they're meant to just shade some. So this is the light again. So once I do that, so the dark polished pink, I think I'm just gonna like let that cover it and see what we think. And then as it dries, you can kind of see that we have like 4 different shades. It'll dry for a little bit, and that's kind of how we come up with this. So I just thought that was fun. I feel like some people naturally can pull a light and a dark of 2 different colors and blend them beautifully. For me, it was a little bit more challenging, but I feel like the look of the card ends up being so much more beautiful. So with that being said, I hope that you guys liked the technique. I hope that you guys will use your blends a little bit more. Would love to hear your thoughts on the card. And if you use your blends, what you use them for. And until next time, I hope you flourish.